Good morning, everybody. This is Tom from RV Travel and Living. Today we're going to talk about something, why an RV is a better choice sometimes for living than an apartment and things like that. And so we're going to talk about that today briefly. So stay tuned. People often ask me, why are you choosing to live in an RV? What makes you, in your right mind, think that you're going to go back? I live in the Philippines now. I'm going to go back to USA, and you're going to live in an RV. What makes you have that impression in your mind that you think that that's going to be this like it was before, and it's going to be the same as it was 6 years ago, 7 years ago? Well, you know what? I don't know that it's going to be the same, but I'm going to tell you some pros, and I'm going to tell you some cons about living in an RV lifestyle. And people don't think about this sometimes, but by living in that environment, it gave me ideas today that I want to talk about. And a friend commented and brought this to my attention. There are, if you're going to live somewhere and you got to go back, say you start in zero, say you just got kicked out of your house, you have nowhere to go and you don't have anything. Maybe you don't have any money. Maybe you're destitute. There are many things that you can do, but you can live in a car, right? You're not destitute. You can live in a car, and that's not destitution. The destitution is, I guess, out living with nothing, but at least you have a car. But it's not about that. Living in an RV is like this. I wanted to go with the lifestyle. Is the lifestyle better? Not always. The grass is not always green on that side of the fence. There's going to be things that you're going to enjoy and things you're going to hate about it. But here's some positive notes. You can get an RV and you can travel and see the sights. You can do the same in a car, but you bring your hotel with you. You save on hotels. And that's a con. That's a pro. A con is if you drive an RV, whether it's Class A, B, or C, if it's a toy hauler or a fifth wheel or something like that, or a camper, it's easy. You unhook it. Say your vehicle died, you unhook it, and you can park it wherever you want or have it towed to wherever you want, and you can sleep in it. Get you until you get your vehicle fixed. On a Class A or Class C or even a van, your vehicle dies, there's your home. You're stuck. You have to find a hotel. That is the bad thing about living in an RV. You have to make sure everything's maintained, but it's going to happen. No matter what, it's going to happen. It's going to break down. They all do. There's going to be a problem somewhere along the lines that you're just going to break down, and it's going to have to be in shop for a day, 2, 3. So you're going to have to find a hotel, and you're going to have to work that out. Well, is that good or bad? Well, maybe it's a good thing. Maybe the kids can go swimming. It's a swimming pool at the hotel. That's kind of a joke also. But still, you have to look at it in a positive way, not a negative way. The thing also by living in a class or in an RV, it also gives you an advantage also than finding an apartment. Your bed's already there. Sometimes 2 beds are already there. Your TVs are already there. You don't have to buy any TVs. They're already installed 99% of the time. I mean, when I sold mine, I sold the TVs and everything. I'm not taking no TV. I mean, it's a 40-inch TV in the front. It's fine. I mean, I paid a lot of money for it. And a 32 in the back. It's okay. I mean, it's on a swivel mount. They can turn around whatever they want and watch TV with it. But I had recliners, 2 recliners. I had a table, a kitchen table. I had a couch. And it was actually, I took out the couch and I put in a futon bed, which you can move up and down, a leather one. Then it had, of course, air conditioning. It had a shower. It had a bed. It had all the furnishings, sheets and towels and everything if they wanted that. I didn't take any sheets or towels or anything. I didn't need any of that stuff. Although they still had the tags on them. I took the ones that were used and left the ones that I did not use, of course. Dish towels and things, because I would frequently change that stuff out. I wouldn't keep the same towel for 2 years or 5 years. I would change it out. But if they were cheap, I'd buy them at Walmart. It has its own stove. You can cook. Guess what? It has its own microwave. A lot of cases, it has its own coffee pot. I left a coffee pot, a Keurig coffee pot. It had 2. It had a Keurig coffee pot. It had one underneath the counter. You slide and put the filter in and pour the water in, and there you go. Pull the water thing out, fill it up, and slide it in. It's one of those Black & Deckers. Really nice. Really nice. Make good coffee too. I like my Keurig better. But there are things that you have automatically in an RV. Now, another advantage to that, you park it in a park or boondock it. Now, boondocking's not as if you're destitute. It still has air conditioning. Run your motor. Diesel. It's a diesel generator on it. You run that. It runs off the gas. Now you can burn up a lot of gas with that. But there are other things. There's solar. There are things that you can do to that that gives you an advantage that you don't really realize, that you could actually live in a way that's easy. You have to just plan accordingly and think it out. People say to me, well, I'll just go move. I thought about this. I just go move an apartment. Well, I could just go move an apartment and everything's fine and dandy, all okay. But I still have to buy towels and sheets and blankets and beds and beddings. Not only one bed, to two beds, because I have my RR. And then I have to have a lot of apartments come with a fridge and a stove. Some come with a microwave, some don't. So you have that, but then you got to put a first, a last, and a security deposit down. Well, the first, last security deposit can be $1,200, $1,500, $1,800, $2,000, depending on where you're going to live, or $2,500, depending on where you're going to live. So you get in that apartment, and then you're surrounded by kids and peoples and bicycles and everything else, and you live in that standard of life, and it's not always perfect there. Where an RV, you can get in the RV, you park it in a parking lot, or park it in a spot and pay the fees at a camping site. And the fees can run anywhere from $300 a month to $1,000 a month, depending on where you stay in the United States. And then you still have to pay the electric and all the other stuff, but it comes with benefits. Most have Wi-Fi, it's spotty. Most have Bright House or some kind of internet or cable, which is fine. Most have swimming pools, which is fine. Most have more than that. They have some have golfing, some have lakes, some have always kind of some type of outing. There was one that I stayed at. It had a restaurant in it 24/7. You could go get an egg at midnight if you wanted to. If somebody stayed there, and it was busy. It was busy at 2, 3 in the morning because people would get off work or whatever and working shifts, and they would go there and have a meal. At 5 in the morning, you couldn't get in the place. It was just a small place, 8 to 10 chairs in there, and then you had outside seating. But there's times you couldn't even get in there. They made egg sandwiches, simple. No big deals. Hamburger, hot dogs. But the thing about an RV, when you travel in an RV, there are cons and there's pros. On my side of the fence, there's more pros to it because I have an automatic house available. If I can figure out the financing, if I can afford one, if I can find the one that I want to have. If I decide to go that route, if not, a fifth wheel or a toy hauler or something like that would be beneficial also. Just have to buy a truck. Now remember, I sold everything when I left, but I'd be going back with nothing. So that means I'd have to cash everything. Well, in some instances, it might be better to lease one, to get one, to make payments on one. I say lease, buy. Not lease one, buy one. Buy one for X amount of dollars, make payments on it, X amount of dollars. You can get one for payments anywhere from $200 to $1,000 a month, depending on what brand and what style and what kind you're looking for and what year it is. Well, I found one yesterday, 2012, Coachman yesterday online, really good shape, 44,000 miles on it, and really good shape for under $20,000. And it had everything, automatic. It had 2 slides on it. It had the automatic on and back and forth, which those can be frustrating and pain because they always don't want to go back in. But the slides were good on. Everything was up. It was always sheltered in a controlled environment, meaning that it was in a heating and air conditioning controlled building 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So when they pulled it out, and it was maintained, meaning that they cranked it and they ran it and they did things like that and moved it around into the storage lot. So you find those for 19. Now that's listed. You could probably get it for 15 or 17 or 18, depending on what the guy wanted. And it was in excellent shape. Leather seating, leather couch, leather. Not only that, the recliners were leather. It was a Class A, 32 foot long, 2 slides, had bunk beds, 2 bunk beds, and it had also a queen size bed. A little bit bigger than a queen, almost a king size bed with walk around bed. And it had all the features. It had too much to list here. I couldn't even, I mean, it was just, if, it's like I'm here and I don't have any approval yet, any visas yet. So hopefully God will, well, I know it, provide me a nice one when I do go there. I know that that would be something that I'm looking into. Will I change my mind? Possibly. I may end up living in an apartment or in the house. If as long as it's a furnished house and you can get in there inexpensively. You don't want to. I don't want to be paying $2, $3, $4,000 to get into a house, and then have to buy everything I have to have. I mean, that's $1,000 right there or more. Even if you go to IKEA, it's still going to cost you a lot of money. Then you got to put it all together and get it pieced back together, and then the quality there. But even in the RVs, you're still going to have problems. So you're not buying something that's brand new and you don't have problems. It's like a car. You buy something, you're going to buy the problems of the car. But the main thing about it is the pros and cons. Pros for me outweigh the cons. I want to talk about that today. My buddy kind of reminded me of it. So thank you so much, Stephen. And I'll see you. He's in Dallas. So I'll see you guys next time. God bless.